Good afternoon and welcome to MtMtE. I'm your host, Blind Prime. And for today, we're going to be talking about Studio Series 86 Scrapper in their vehicle mode. We're going to be going over Scrapper in depth. We're going to be comparing Scrapper to other Transformers. And we're going to be talking about where the exact, what shelf should you put your vehicle mode Scrapper on. Because, well, we'll talk about why it won't fit on your chug shelf later on in today's video. So please, hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment below telling me where you would like to put your Scrapper in your collection if you had one. And also, let me know in the comments below, is there a third-party Chug Scale Devastator? I collect Chug Scale. I like the Chug Scale. I just would like to find a Devastator in the Chug Scale that I could love and adore. And I keep getting these bad hits with Devastators. And is there a Devastator out there for me? Let me know in the comments below, because I would love to have a good Devastator. So, and if you haven't figured it out by now, prefacing this video with, this isn't a good Scrapper. It's not. We've got some fun things, like he can store his fun little gun on the end of his. He's got this little post that's on the end of his scoop, and he's also got some little slots that you can plug the bigger gun into. And honestly, I don't like the little rectangular slots. I do wish they had just given us some more siege ports, because then we could have decked him out with other things. We could have made him, we could have given him some of the other weapons that came with other figures. He could have had a couple of siege ports on his back, and that would have been really cool. So I don't know why we didn't get that. I think that's just missed detail or what have you. But it is a shame that we didn't get that. So this guy, when it comes to textures, there's nothing to talk about at the front bucket except on the sides. He's got a little bit of texture on the sides of the bucket, but there's not really much. It's very lackluster in very. As a person who has been loving the Studio series because of the sheer amount of texture, I I'm floored by the lack of it on this guy. So there's a bit of texture on the arms here that go around, but like I said before, compared to other things we've gotten, it's very lackluster. It's very minimalistic texturing. It doesn't seem like they were just given the go-ahead to go wild with the textures. And we're going to bring out the Revenge of the Fallen to compare them in just a moment. Coming over here to the wheels. The wheels we talked about in the robot mode. Here's this fun little ladder that goes up the side. Ladder is made for for really small people. And then you have this little spot at the top of the ladder that's nice corrugated steel platform. Then you have this huge gap. Why is there a huge gap? There wasn't a huge gap in Combiner Wars Scrapper. Why is there a huge gap here? It's a gap. It's a big square gap. I could put the end of my finger. I could put my pointer finger in there, and it covers even my fingernail. It's deep. It's as deep as my fingernail. Why do we need to have that there? Why was that even there at all? Couldn't you have figured out a different way? Couldn't there have been something to fold out, or maybe just made these feet like have, I don't know. There could have been things done, but there wasn't things done. And now we have these two huge gaps that don't belong there at all. It actually kind of looks better if you take away the arm. Like, look, we remove the arm. We're going to remove the arm all the way around the front area. We're going to hide the arm under the bucket. There we go. See, that actually, in my opinion, is better than this stupid arm being there, because at least now there's not a gap. I mean, yeah, there's no way the guy can get up there, but there's no more gap. But look at that gap. You could see it clearly on the side. It's wild how they let that one pass by. Like, you just let that one happen. You've created this Studio Series 86 line to specifically make the best possible representations of the 86 movie Transformers. And yeah, I mean, I was a little annoyed that Bumblebee was, they did the penny racer stuff for his vehicle mode when we didn't want that in 86. We just wanted the on-screen vehicle mode, and we wanted the on-screen robot mode. And that's what I wanted here. I wanted the on-screen vehicle mode, and I wanted the on-screen robot mode. But I wanted my on-screen vehicle mode to be, in the same size class as my deluxe, as my chug scale figures, so I could have really fun battles happening with them. Uh, uh, let's continue talking about this guy. So we get two vents on the back end where his engine is, because this back area is usually the engine compartment for these big vehicles. There's a vent, there's another vent, and that's it for the vent actions on this vehicle, which is very sad in my opinion. And then we have some like little bumpers sticking up for lights and stuff, and they didn't even really texture those too well. That's a shame. They used to texture those lights like wild. They put all sorts of fun textures into these guys, and for this guy, that's just not the case. Up here at the canopy, other than the giant gap that you have to be athletic to drive this this front end loader around, because you got to leap that gap, boy. You got to leap it. You can spin this a little bit, but this canopy is just it's too small. It needed to be bigger. If this canopy was actually 1 inch scale, it would hide these two gaps on either side. I don't know if you thought about that, but that's what would happen if you had made this canopy 1 inch scale instead of the whatever scale it is. I think it's like 1/64th scale or close enough for hand grenades and horseshoes. So that's that. And then finally, the big thing I want to mention, and the thing that surprised me on the wow, you actually did that, kind of cock the head off to the side and look at them like they're crazy moment. Why is there a metal pin in the center of the canopy's roof? This is the canopy that we will see, because this guy, break the legs right there. We go. Oh yeah, I'll put him temporarily into like half-foot mode. Okay, where the bucket's sitting on the ground. Look at that. That metal pin is right there in your face. As a blind person, I can feel it's there. I can feel like how the plastic is raised up around it because of the intensity that it was put in. I can feel that this thing didn't need to be there. I don't know why the entire cockpit for this scrapper here could have just been on a mushroom peg and you just plugged in at the factory, and we wouldn't have to worry about this pin. And then it would have moved around all we wanted. And some people who maybe want to rebuild it for something else could have just yanked it out. I think that would have been cool. Or you could have done what Revenge of the Fallen did and put the canopy on some joints to have it just kind of float around, where you pick it up and everything happens below it, and then you put it back down for robot mode. That would have also been acceptable in my opinion. But having a metal pin there, right where everyone can see it, I just don't understand the logic. I don't get it. You're making a collectible. You're making something that people are paying good money for to display on their shelves with pride. So please have some pride in it when making it. That's all I ask. Now, let's compare him to Revenge of the Fallen Scrapper. Now, I'm going to preface this comparison with something important. I understand that the engineers at Hasbro, like Evan and the team, want to make the best Transformers they possibly can make. They aren't skimping out on purpose. They aren't half-assing this because they're lazy. No. I've seen the stuff they make. They're good. They're good engineers. What's happening here, and you shouldn't blame them for these things because it's not their fault. Corporate overlords sent down a message. And this is what my theory is. My theory is we had a completely different scrapper. But when all this tariff nonsense started up, corporate CEO got upset. He got worried. He can make plenty of money on his MTG cards and his Dungeons and Dragons game. But, he doesn't really understand the toys because he was a Wizards of the Coast CEO. He doesn't understand toys. The guy's just not good at it. And he sent out a decision that the Transformers were going to have a reduced budget because of the tariffs, because of inflation, because of oil prices, what have you. They were going to have a decreased budget on their Transformers because he made the statement he was tired of raising prices on these things and he was just going to start limiting what was in the box. And I'm like, oh, okay. So instead of just raising the prices, we're going full-blown shrinkflation. Yay, shrinkflation. Being sarcastic, by the way. So let's compare old CEO to new CEO. Now, the CEO in 2020, where Scrapper came out, well, he approved this one. So let's see what he approved. Look at all this texture. This thing's got so much texture. 14 teeth on the big bucket on the front. How big's the bucket on the front of 86 Devastator? The 86 Devastator's bucket is only 2/3 the size of ROTF Scrapper's bucket. 86 Scrapper has 5 teeth on his bucket. Studio Series ROTF Scrapper, 14 teeth on his bucket. All them teeth. And each one of these has its own little bitty amount of texture. Each one is textured. And the inside of the bucket is textured. Now we come over here to the wheels, okay? So the wheels here and the wheels for 86 Scrapper, they're bigger on Revenge of the Fallen Scrapper, like almost double the size of 86 Scrapper's wheels. And honestly, if you were trying to make 86 Scrapper into a chug scale, I think you would need ROTF Scrapper's wheels to really get that across. I think maybe the bucket needed to be a little bigger, and the wheels need to be bigger, and the canopy needs to be wider, and maybe a little taller. I don't know, but this guy is not chug scale. I am sorry. Yeah, big weather change, and all my sinuses are going crazy. So we're continuing with this. Let's see. Canopy wise, the canopy for ROTF Scrapper has so much more detail on it. There's a little like opening at the top where somebody can climb out onto the roof of the canopy. There's all these little joints and jousts, and it's just, there's so much detail that you can feel everywhere. There's detail everywhere. There's even 2 siege ports on the back. There's just so much detail. So much detail. I'm going down over here to the rear lights and stuff. There's just, it's wild how much more detail is in the ROTF compared to the 86. And look at this. ROTF, its ladders and 86 ladders are the same. So they belong in the same size category. They belong on the same shelf together. They're just different front end loaders. You've got one front end loader from ROTF that's supposed to be the front end loader for an entire quarry mine. And then you have the front end loader for 86, which is supposed to be the front end loader that works with other construction vehicles to build skyscrapers and roadways and stuff. So this guy can't be the size of a quarry miner front end loader. He just can't be that big. He has got to fit on the back end of a semi-truck so a semi-truck can drive him into town. He can't fit on the back end of a semi-truck whenever you got him in core class, like he is right now. Look, here's a core class semi-truck. Oh, look at that. Core class semi-truck. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know why the scaling needed to be this drastically different. Why the sculpt work needed to be so lackluster compared to the other Scrapper. These Scrappers, by the way, ROTF Scrapper here cost $5 less than 86 Scrapper. $5 less. It's heavier. No, Cream, I'm playing with Scrapper right now. It's heavier. It's longer. Look, if I raise up the bucket for 86 Scrapper here, we find out that 86 Scrapper, if I put him on the end of the bumper, doesn't even go to the front wheels of ROTF Scrapper. He is so small in comparison, he can't even reach the front wheels. ROTF Scrapper is wider. ROTF Scrapper is taller. ROTF Scrapper is longer. ROTF Scrapper weighs more. ROTF Scrapper has more detail. ROTF Scrapper has more teeth. ROTF Scrapper makes more sense with the canopy. ROTF Scrapper wins on all the levels. 86 Scrapper fails on all the levels. And I hate that he does. I really do, because I really had high hopes for this guy. I sold my Combiner Wars Scrapper understanding that if ROTF Scrapper was this good, was this amazing, was just absolutely chef's kiss, a transform, then I expected the same, if not more, for 86 Scrapper. Something we have been teased about, something rumors were out about. I expected this guy to be more than this guy. I really did. And I know that's on me for having such high hopes and not reading the writing on the wall that the Hasbro CEO was like, Hasbro's done with toys. And now we see what he meant by that, because this thing, it's wild to have almost the same exact Transformer to compare him to. It's so weird how it's changed so much, but we can witness that change right here and now. And people complained about Siege figures being smaller than Titan's Return. Buckle up, boyo, because this is smaller than the new small stuff. Like, what are we dropping another size scale again? Do we have to redo all the Transformers again since we've done from Siege to account for the new size scale? Are we doing that? Or are we not doing that? What are we doing? What is happening with Devastator here? So to finish it up, we've got a deluxe scale, and I wanted to show you this comparison. Deluxe scale Brawn is longer than 86 Scrapper. Deluxe scale Brawn is just as tall as 86 Scrapper. Actually, 86 Scrapper is a little taller because of the canopy, but if you're not counting the canopy, Brawn and 86 Scrapper are the same height. The only thing that 86 Scrapper has on Brawn is 86 Scrapper is wider. 86 Scrapper also weighs a little more, but the weight difference between 86 Scrapper and 86 Brawn is about the same amount of weight difference between ROTF Scrapper and 86 Scrapper. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give 86 Scrapper a C- for vehicle mode. Actually, no. It's a D+. It gets a D+ for vehicle mode. That brings the average down to a C- for this figure overall. So, 86 Scrapper, the entirety, transformation, robot, and vehicle all combined together, in my opinion, deserve a C-. And I really hate giving him that grade because I really wanted him to have a better grade. I feel like the teacher in the class who's got that A student that always makes 100% on all their tests, and they showed up with a test that didn't have, half the answers answered, and the other half of the answers were wrong. And I'm just scratching my head going, is something wrong with this kid? Is something up right now? Because he doesn't do this normally. And that's the case here. This isn't normal. This isn't normal compared to what we've gotten before in the Studio Series line. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Blind Prime, and this has been Cream the Cat. That has been my runny nose. Oh, man. I really can't wait till all these temperature changes stop. It's wild. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.